Homer, with all due respect, what the fuck are you talking about? And why is Olson here?
Ozzy, look.
What the fuck is this?
What's happening, guys? Supernova here, back with another video, and I know it's been a while. It's been a little over a week, and I don't know what to tell you guys. I've been, I've been busy. I've been I've been living life and playing lots of games. Being one of the ones who was fortunate enough to be able to get a PlayStation 5 at launch, I've had a lot of games to play, and that's what I've been doing. I've been playing these games. And I've been wanting to make a video about something just to, have a video out there to make the fucking algorithm happy and just to, keep content, keep making content for you guys who I know, are excited to hear from me and stuff. And I just couldn't think of anything to make a video about. Like wasn't going to review any of the games just because there were too many fucking games to review, and I just wanted to be able to get through them. Plus, gaming news has been kind of slow. Like, what am I going to make a video about? Another multi-plat running either just as good or better on PlayStation 5 than Series X? Like, I can't keep making that video. Or what a fucking video about how some PlayStation 5s have different fans inside of them. Like, do the fans still spin? Okay, then who gives a fuck, right? Or the new one. Oh, fucking patent shows that PlayStation 6 is going to have 2 GPUs. Maybe. Like, I'm not going to make a video about that shit. Hey, power to the guys who want to make videos about that shit. I appreciate the hustle. Me personally, I'm not going to make videos about that shit. So what am I going to make a video about? Well, I decided to make a video about this because one of the games that I've been playing along this journey of enjoying my PlayStation 5 has been Godfall. And my overall experience with Godfall has been positive-ish. I've enjoyed the game. I've had fun with the game, but holy fuck does the game have problems, and at times fucking infuriates me. And I'm gonna go through some of the issues that I have with the game. I want to first say that I've heard from some people, including SkillUp, who I usually agree with most of the shit he says, but I hear people saying that somehow Godfall is worse than Anthem and Avengers, and to that I say absolutely fucking not. And if somebody thinks that, they are smoking some very, very, very strong crack, because this game is definitely better than both Anthem and the piece of shit known as Avengers, because holy fuck is the Avengers a piece of shit. This game at least has fun combat, whereas Avengers for me was boring, fucking repetitive combat. This game at least has fun combat I enjoy. It does have issues, and I will get into them, but at least I enjoy the combat. And overall, I think the game is more fun. So for me, Godfall is better than both of those games. I wouldn't say by much, but it is definitely better than both of those games. Let's get into probably the biggest issue that I have with Godfall, and that is it is a very, very unstable game. In the entire time I've played my PlayStation 5, which is fucking tens and tens and tens of hours at this point, with Miles Morales, I had 2 game freezes, and that's it. Astro's Playroom, 0 issues. Sackboy: A Big Adventure, 0 issues. Bugsnax, 0 issues. Demon Souls, 0 issues. But Godfall, I think that game must have not just froze, but fucking outright crashed. That game fucking crashed, I would have to say, 15, 16 plus times, maybe more. I stopped fucking counting because it just kept fucking crashing. Luckily, getting back into the game doesn't take very long, but it's just annoying as fuck when it keeps crashing over and over and over again. And It has gotten better in the week or so that I've been playing the game. It has gotten better and does crash a lot less, but the crashes are still there, and it's extremely annoying. And I'm not sure why or what causes the crashes. It crashes at all kinds of random intervals while doing different things, so it's not like it's a particular thing that causes the crash. The game just crashes, and that's probably the most annoying thing because of how interrupting it is to gameplay. There are, of course, on top of that, many, 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 many issues that I have with the game that I think comes from the fact that I think the developers of this game just are not very experienced developers. Looking at everything, when you play this game, it's very clear to see that these developers are not very experienced. They've made a very beautiful looking game at times. Certain things in the game do look very graphically impressive at times. But that's about it. When you actually start to kind of look at things up close and kind of get down into it, you realize that there's a lot of things that are just strange, that are done oddly, that they're done incorrectly, that are just strange implementations of solutions to problems. And it's just clear to me, like I said, that these developers are not of the caliber that you would expect of a big AAA game. And I'm not entirely sure if this game is a AAA game, but the way it's been presented to us and the way that it's been kind of marketed is that it is this big AAA next-gen experience. And I don't think that is true at all of this game. Is it next-gen? Well, yes, because it's on next-gen consoles, but it doesn't feel very much to me like a next-gen experience because of all these issues with the game. And I'm gonna start getting into them. And I'm not gonna get into them in any particular fucking order, just because that's not the way I work. I kind of just talk about this shit as I think about it. So the first thing that I want to talk about is the combat. And like I said before, the combat to me is enjoyable. Playing with all the weapons is enjoyable. There are several different weapons, long swords, great swords, war hammers, shit like that. And the combat itself is fun. The issues are, as SkillUp said in his review of the game, there is no input queuing. So, for example, I can be attacking an enemy, hitting R1, attack, 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 and then see that the enemy is now about to attack me, and then hit circle to evade and get out of the fucking way. But because there's no input queuing, my character has to completely finish whatever animations he's in, and then only after that animation will the game then realize that I'm trying to hit circle, and it won't even know that I've hit circle already. I'd have to hit circle after the animation is finished. It's not like I hit circle and then once the animation finishes, it goes, oh, you press circle, boom, let's dodge out of the way. No, the animation has to finish, and then you have to press circle. And this causes a lot of you getting hit by attacks that you saw coming but could not get out of the fucking way of. And that becomes incredibly frustrating. Add into that in order to use any of your shield abilities, you have to first press L1 and then press, R2 or circle or X, depending on what other abilities you have unlocked in your skill tree. And again, if you're fighting and you're in the middle of regular combat, you're tapping R1, 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 R2, R1, and then, oh fuck, I want to use this shield ability, and you press L1 and hit this other button. Well, the game doesn't register that you've done any of that because you're still in the middle of that fucking animation of whatever you were doing prior. So that animation of you attacking, your character's still in the middle of that animation, so you pressing the shoulder button, L1, and then, one of the other buttons to use some type of shield ability does absolutely fucking nothing because the game is still in the middle of that animation from your attack. And again, won't have any input queuing to do those things right after that animation No, you'd have to do them after the animation actually took place. Same thing with your special abilities, which for the special abilities, you have to hold L2 till your weapon charges up and then press either R1 or R2 to use one of your special abilities. Again, the same problem. You're in the middle of combat, hitting R1 or R2, having your character do these animations of these attacks, and then you want to use that special ability, so you hit L2 and go to hit R1 or R2, and the game doesn't register that you've done it because you're still in the middle of the animation from the previous attack. So you have to wait till the animation finishes to then hold L2 and then wait for that charge up and then hit one of the other buttons. The problem is it really fucking hurts the flow of combat, and also at times causes you to get hit by things that you shouldn't have been able to get hit by because you should have been able to pull off your special attack but weren't able to because you thought you did it, but the game didn't understand you did it because it was like, wait, hold up, motherfucker. I'm trying to play this animation, and you can't do shit till after this animation. And it's just, in a game like this, where it is a melee combat game, it is incredibly frustrating, and at times just downright annoying to have these things happen, to try to be using your shield abilities and not have them work when you want them to work, to try to use your special abilities, not have them work when you want them to work, to try to dodge out of the way of attacks you see coming and not have it work because of the way the game is designed. So, like I said, I do enjoy the combat, but it is at times incredibly frustrating. Even worse than that, though, is how fucking cheap, and I mean cheap with a capital fucking C, some of the enemies' attacks are. Because you have several enemies who like to throw fucking projectiles at you in a game about melee combat. So you need to be able to fucking get up close to them and hit them with whatever weapon you have. Yet they're able to shoot you with projectile weapons. And yes, you can dodge out of the way or fucking try to block, but honestly, it doesn't really work the way you think it would. You're probably saying to yourself, oh, just fucking block the attacks. And you can. Or, oh, just dodge out of the way of the attacks. You can, but when you're in the middle of combat, again, with that input queuing things, sometimes it's not as easy to dodge out of the way or to block as you think it would be because you're doing other things. Also, the enemies love to hit you with attacks that knock you back. So you're trying to, attack enemies, and you'll get 2-3 swings in, and then they'll hit you with a fucking attack that hurts you and knocks you back. So you fall back on your ass, and then your character has to fucking get back up, and now you've got to reclose the distance between you and that enemy. So you try to run up to the enemy, get a couple swipes in, and then boom, they hit you with another attack that knocks you back, and then you got to get back up off the ground and then try to close that distance again. That's also incredibly frustrating when you're trying to build up, let's say, something like your rampage, which is something that only builds up by getting, multiple hits in. So the more hits you get in, you build up that rampage, and then your character now starts doing more damage once you enter that little rampage mode. Hard to do when you're constantly getting knocked back on your fucking ass and then have to reclose the distance. It's even worse when you have enemies that not only knock you back, but then fucking lay lava or fire on the fucking ground. So not only are you now knocked back, but then you have to fucking immediately get the fuck away from them, because if you're anywhere near them, you're going to be getting burned alive by the fucking lava, where they throw down these fucking electricity pools on the ground, and you have to fucking back away from them immediately, because if you stay in that fucking electricity pool, you're going to fucking die. So how are you supposed to do any damage to enemies when anytime you get close to them, they knock you back or drop some type of fucking elemental bullshit on the ground where if you stay anywhere near them, you're gonna fucking die. You gotta fucking back away because you're either gonna be on fire or be shocked by the fucking electricity. It's just super, super cheap. And then you have fucking enemies like this one enemy, Solaris. It's actually the same enemy that SkillUp bitched about in his video, because Solaris is one of these bosses, and not only will he do everything that I just fucking spoke about, he'll then fucking fly up into the sky and start raining down fucking missiles at you. And you'll fucking try to slide and dodge out of the way, but it doesn't matter what the fuck you do, you're gonna get fucking hit by one. And then the second you get up and try to slide, boom, you're gonna get hit by another one, and then hit by another one, and get hit by another one. And you're gonna get hit by 4 or 5, maybe even 6, while you just get stun locked by these fucking shit that he's just raining down on you. He's by far the worst boss in the entire fucking game because it takes you forever to do any damage because anytime you get fucking close to him, he either has attacks that knock you back, fire that's fucking everywhere, or he flies up into the sky and then rains fucking rockets down on you. He's also fucking pretty big, and he has this big sword that he swings, and the range of that attack is literally almost fucking 360 degrees. Like, the only safe spot from that attack is if you're like behind his left leg and to the left a little bit, because his sword literally, he will like reach across his body and back past his left shoulder and swing and go all the way around past the midpoint of his back almost to his other fucking leg. It's literally almost a 360 degree fucking attack, and it's such fucking bullshit. And then you have these other enemies that love to fucking teleport. So you fucking get up, you're finally getting some fucking, damage done. You're about to use a special attack. You use your special attack. You happen to be able to fucking do it because you waited for the other animations to finish so you can do it, right? And then you activate it and then, poof, motherfucker's gone. Where did he go? Oh, he teleported over there. Well, that's fucking convenient. Now you've just wasted your special attack, or you wait for your Arcane Fury to fucking build up, which is basically kind of like going into the Spartan Rage mode in God of War, kind of. So you activate that shit, and then, motherfucker's gone. Where'd he go? Oh, now he's over there. Now you gotta run your happy ass over there, and guess what? Your Arcane Fury is done by the time you fucking get there. You've just wasted your Arcane Fury. There's just so many fucking enemies in the game that they're just fucking cheap, man. They're such fucking cheap enemies, and at times it gets incredibly frustrating to fight them because it's just annoying, incredibly annoying. Like, I love a challenge. I like a challenge, but there's a point where it's a challenge and there's a point where it's just bullshit. And this game has a lot of bullshit enemies that are just a pain in the fucking ass that no matter what you do, they're going to hit you. You can't fucking avoid the hit. Like these fucking giant lizards called Bone Crushers.
Who am I? Bone Crusher, motherfucker! What my shoulders, motherfucker!
They'll fucking turn purple and start running. And you can try to get away, but they run faster than you do, and they're gonna hit you, and there's nothing you can fucking do about it. Or you're gonna block? No, your block does absolutely nothing. They're gonna hit you and knock you on your ass. If they don't fucking pick you up and then fucking slam you on the ground, doing a lot of damage. It's just another one of those cases where it's like, when you see them, you're like, oh fuck, these motherfuckers are here, right? So at times, the combat, it feels a little bit unfair and frustrating, because of how cheap the tactics and capabilities of the enemies are. Also, and when running the tower, there are these towers that you can run that are just, you go in, there's a little elevator, and you fight dudes in the elevator, and then you have multiple doors you can pick after you defeat the dudes in the elevator. You go out, fight the dudes in this little arena, and then after you beat them, you get back in the elevator, and you go up another level, and you go up as many levels as you can until you die. There's a lower tier one that's 10 levels, and then there's one that I think is either 50 levels, or I've heard that it's indefinite. I don't know, because I've never gotten above level like 17 on it, because it is fucking hard. But when you're in this arena fighting these people, there are these certain enemies that will drop, like I was talking about earlier, these fucking electricity pools on the ground, and there's really no indication to you that you're being hurt. There's no sound to let you know that you're being electrocuted to death. There's no type of haptic feedback in the controller to let you know that you're being electrocuted to death. There's no indicator on the screen to tell you, hey, you're being electrocuted to death. You just die. You'll instantly fucking die, and then you'll be like, whoa, what the fuck happened? Nobody was hitting me. I was hitting this guy, beating the shit out of him. Nobody was hitting me. How the fuck did I die? And then you realize, oh, I must have had a fucking pinky toe in that fucking electricity pool right there, and I just didn't fucking know. The amount of times that me and friends have failed the tower because we died due to fucking being in those fucking electricity pools and not knowing it is way too many to fucking count. So those are some of the issues I have with the combat. Then there's just the issues I have with the game overall. And it's just, there is... I don't know how to explain it. I'll try to explain it and show you guys as best I can. But there's just like a lack of explanation for things, and just the menu systems are just very lacking in information, or helping you understand what exactly is going on. A great example is here. They give you the ability to choose your difficulty when you're doing missions. You can choose easy, normal, or hard, but it doesn't indicate to you what difficulty you are currently in. Are you in easy? Are you in normal? Are you in hard? It doesn't fucking tell you. And when you're choosing your difficulty, like it tells you, easy means the enemies deal less damage, they have less health, and they're less aggressive. Normal is the default Godfall experience, and hard means you fail the mission after 3 respawns. Enemies deal more damage, enemies have more health, enemies are more aggressive, and enemies drop more loot. That's what it says on the screen as you're choosing the difficulty. But once you're out of the screen where you choose the difficulty, on the map, there is nothing to indicate what difficulty you're in. There's nothing to say, hey, you're playing on easy. Hey, you're playing on normal. Hey, you're playing on hard. And so for a while, me and a friend, we were having issues because there are these things you can do in the end game called Dreamstones. And when you do the Dreamstones, it costs you this currency called Electrum to begin the Dreamstone sequence. And then once you begin that Dreamstone sequence, there are these different nodes for different missions you can do, and you do them and you unlock shit, and then you have a boss battle at the end where they drop loot and give you a bunch of shit. And you can, do them. There's different levels, I think starting at 40 something, going up to 60. And the higher you go, the more money it costs to get in. But of course, the better loot and shit you get. Well, on my friends, we would play. We went up to level 60, and we would do it and have no problem. And we were doing it on his because he was the party leader, but he was the one paying the Electrum to get into the Dreamstone, because you have to pay up front to get access to that Dreamstone. And at times, I believe for level 60, it's like 30,000 Electrum, which is a lot. So he was very, very quickly running out of Electrum, running out of this currency. And I had an abundance of it because I was not paying to get in. So we decided, hey, look, let's switch to mine and we'll fucking do it on my side. And we kept doing it on mine, and we kept getting our asses kicked doing the same thing. Not understanding, like, yo, why the fuck is it so hard? And, also failing because we only had multiple respawns. Not realizing that it was actually in hard the whole time. Him and I both never messed with the difficulty when we were doing missions, so we didn't think of it. And I guess days earlier had put it in hard for some other side mission I was doing on my own, and didn't realize it was still in hard, because when you click on it and you go and select hard and it goes back to the main screen, when you click square to pull up the difficulties again, it's automatically by default highlighting easy. So again, because there's no indication you're on hard, after you immediately selected hard, if you hit difficulty again, easy is what's highlighted by default, not indicating that you're in easy, but it's highlighting easy by default, which is stupid. So it made me think, oh, I guess I'm in easy. I didn't realize that even if you're in hard, when you hit difficulty again, it just shows easy by default. I was thinking this whole time, oh, my difficulty is already set to easy. So when it came time to doing the Dreamstones, I thought mine was still in easy, and I didn't think about changing the difficulty because I didn't think I had changed the difficulty. So we kept wondering, yo, why the fuck is it so hard on mine? Like, is the game broken? Which the game is broken for a multitude of reasons. But is this one of the reasons? Is the game broken because of this? Like, did it fuck up and glitch, and it's giving us harder shit for some reason? No, it turns out that difficulty of mine was on hard the whole time. But again, there is zero indication that you are playing on hard, or that you are playing on normal, or that you are playing on easy. And this seems like a simple fucking thing to do in a game, to let you know what difficulty you're playing on. Other games just like this one, anytime you go to select a mission and it gives you the ability to increase the difficulty so you could get better loot or rarer loot, it always lets you know somehow after you've selected it that, yo, you're in hard difficulty, just a heads up, there's something on the screen, some type of indication that you are playing on a harder difficulty. Not only that, we've played on harder difficulty. Once we figured out what was going on, we tried playing on hard, where enemies are supposedly supposed to drop more loot, and we didn't really see any significant drop or increased drop of loot. It felt exactly the fucking same as when we played on easy or normal. So again, the game, it's just, oh man, there are so many issues with the game. One of them being, again, the lack of information, not knowing whether you're in easy, normal, or hard, which is something that is very fucking easy, something that is very simple, yet somehow the developers of this game just either didn't think about it or thought that they didn't need it, to which, case, no matter which the answer is, I'm like, well, what the fuck, guys? Like, get your shit together, all right? There's also just a lot of shit that's not explained well, or skills that they don't explain exactly how the fuck it works, or the descriptions, when you read it, you're like, okay, that's great, but I have no idea what the fuck that means, right? And then, for example, there's a skill called critical hit, and then there's things in the game called weak points. And you would kind of think that they would be the same thing, but they're not. There are weak points in the game that, light up when you have the skill equipped, that light up, and when you hit the enemy, you do more damage. And then there are critical hits. And the critical hits are just completely fucking random. Completely random. You hit somebody, maybe it's critical hit, maybe it's not. Doesn't matter where you hit them. You could hit them in the fucking toe. Maybe it's critical hit, maybe it's not. You could hit him in the head. Maybe it's critical hit, maybe it's not. Also, you can't really aim where you're hitting. Your character will hit the same place, but you have a little reticule on the screen, and that's where you can kind of aim, because you'll have these zones that light up on some enemies depending on what skills you have enabled, like the weak point skill, that'll let you know where the weak point is on an enemy. And when you put the reticule over that weak point, your attacks do more damage, even though you're hitting the same spot no matter where the reticule is pointed. Again, a weird fucking system, but they don't really explain what critical hits are versus weak points. And I had to actually do some research to find out that critical hits are something that's completely random, not something that you can actually do yourself. Because I had an augment or an amulet or something that gave me a big boost to critical hit damage, and also gave me a big boost to weak point damage. And I was wondering, well, what's the difference? I know how to do the weak points. How do I get the critical hits? The game doesn't explain to you how to get the critical hits. How do I get these critical hits? Like this amulet or whatever the hell it was that my character had. It's giving me this massive boost in damage. If I can get a critical hit, how do I get a critical hit? So I had to look it up, only to find out that critical hits are completely fucking random. Again, not explained by the game. Then there's there's the fact that your character's name is Orin. It is clear at the beginning of the game that you are a male character. You are clearly a man and you have a man's voice. Yes, motherfuckers, I did just assume Orin's gender. Go fuck yourself. He looks and sounds like a man. Orin's a fucking man. But there are these multiple armors in the game that you can unlock. Half of them are clearly men. Half of them are clearly women. Well, Supernova, how can you tell they're women? Because the women have tits. Because the women armor have tits, okay? They clearly have fucking breastplate armor with breasts in them. Also, when you choose to use those armors, all of a sudden, Orin now has a woman's voice, which again is really fucking weird. So you're playing as this character Orin, who is the same character from beginning to end, but if you choose one of these other armors that is the female armor, you now have a female appearance, and Orin has a female voice, which is incredibly fucking strange. It's not like Assassin's Creed, Odyssey or Valhalla, where it lets you pick male or female at the beginning, and depending on what you pick, you're the male or female version of that character. This game clearly starts you off as male Orin, and then you can pick an armor and all of a sudden become female Orin. And then you choose another armor, and then all of a sudden you're back to male Orin. And it's just really fucking strange how it does that. It really doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Then there's the fact that this game is an online always game. It's online always. Even if I'm playing by myself, it is an online game, which makes it laggy as fuck. There are so many times that it just stutters. This game stutters so fucking much. It is insane how much it stutters. It's constantly stuttering and freezing up even when I'm playing by myself because it is this online only game. It also baffles me that it is an online only game designed with multiplayer in mind that has zero matchmaking. Like, what the fuck? Like, I don't care, I don't use the matchmaking, but how many people who play by themselves and don't have friends to play with could benefit from matchmaking? Because I'll be honest with you right now, I enjoyed this game, I had fun with this game, but only because I played this game with a friend. And me and him were playing from beginning to end and going through together and leveling up together and finding new weapons together. Had I played this game by myself, I'm not entirely sure I would have finished. Or if I reached level 50 like I did, I don't think I would have been grinding for more weapons and better augments and better amulets and try to, get a better build so we can get to higher levels in the tower. I think I would have beat the game, been like, that's that, and fucking deleted it off the PlayStation. It's only because I'm playing with a friend that I even go back to this game, that I somewhat enjoy and have fun with this game. And there are going to be millions of people out there who play this game that don't have people on their friends list that they can readily play with, that would benefit a lot from matchmaking. And this game just doesn't have any matchmaking. Why? I have no fucking idea. It makes zero sense to me. And another thing, this game, holy fuck does it like to have shit just kind of show up on the screen, weird fucking effects and bullshit. You have this thing called Soul Shatter that you can build up kind of like this frosty freeze on enemies with your R1 attack, and then once you build up this meter, hit R2 and they'll, explode in this fucking blue explosion. And then you have special attacks that'll have little explosions and shit happening. And then when you go into Rampage, now all of a sudden, as you're fucking swinging your sword and doing crazy shit, there's all these swirls and things happening. And then enemies are slamming their shields on the ground. They make red explosions. And there are times when I'm playing, especially if I'm playing with more than one other person, and we're fighting people, that I'll be honest, with all the shit that's happening, I have no fucking idea what's going on. I have no fucking idea. I'm just hitting R1 and watching my health and hope that I'm hitting somebody and that I'm not getting hit. That's literally what happens. We do these tower runs, and there'll be three of us, and there might be a big enemy, and we're trying to gang up and take this big enemy out. And between whatever effects the big enemy has going on, between whatever effects we have going on, between us going into Rampage or fucking activating Arcane Fury or fucking having our polarity attacks when we switch weapons and all these fucking explosions and shit, between all of that, it is just a swirled fucking mess of colors and bullshit, and I have no fucking idea what's happening. Like I said, I'm just pressing R1, looking at my health, hoping I'm hitting something without getting hit by it. And it's just, at times, like, I'm looking at it like, I what the fuck were they thinking? You can't fucking see anything. You can't see anything. And it's just fucking ridiculous. It's fucking crazy. I know that they want to be flashy and shit, but you can't fucking see anything. And at times it does become annoying, especially in those instances where you are getting hit by something and now you can't even tell what the fuck you were getting hit by. Or you got hit by an enemy who, even if you were able to dodge in time, thanks to that lack of input queuing, even if you were able to dodge in time, you weren't able to because you couldn't see the attack coming because of all the bullshit happening on the screen. Jesus Christ, man. I don't have any of it recorded. I wish I did to show you, because it is hilarious when you see just how much shit is happening when you have multiple people fighting. at the same time. And it's not as bad when you're playing by yourself, but it's still pretty fucking bad with how much shit just is popping and exploding and this effect and that effect. And it's just, man, it is very annoying at times. Oh, then let's talk about the Augment menu, because holy fuck, the Augment menu is fucking broken. Oh my god, dude, it is by far the laggiest fucking menu in the entire game. Watch when I show you this. And it may be difficult for you to realize exactly what's happening, but look at the character in the background. You can see Phoenix in the background there, and she's kind of slowly moving, moving a little bit. And then all I'm going to do is just go between the fucking different augments in this fucking screen. Just kind of, left, right, up, down, and you can see her stutter and freeze as I'm doing this. I also want you to realize that as I'm going through this, pay attention to how often it's moving and the speed it's moving, because I'm literally in tempo, clicking up, down, left, right, left, right, left, up, down, at a singular tempo. And at times you'll see it fucking stop and completely come to a halt, or fucking have a jump or a stutter, and it's just going through this menu is insanely fucking frustrating, because there is no reason in my mind why it shouldn't just be move over to the next thing, move over to the next thing, move over to the next thing. But all of this fucking game's menus have some type of stutter or pause or fucking temporary freeze as you go through them, as you try to go through, the different categories with the shoulder buttons. As you try to go and look at your augments, you click on R2 to go to the augments, and there's a pause. And then when you get to the augment screen, you're going through the augment tree, and there's just fucking stutters and freezes, and it's like, why, dude? Why the fuck is this happening? I don't understand. Also, this fucking augment system. This augment system can go fuck itself, okay? Because you'll see a number on the bottom right-hand corner of the screen that it says augment power usage 98 out of 100, right? And what that means is every augment has a drain number assigned to it. When you look at the augment, it'll give you, on the right-hand side, it'll give you increased vitality or spirit or might, and then on the left-hand side, it has a drain. The higher the level of the augment, the more drain. So like the legendaries, the orange augments, they have a drain of 30. And the epic augments, the purples, have a drain of like fucking 15 or some shit. And then you have the blues, which are rares, and then the greens, and they have less and less, depending on, the level, less and less of a drain. Which in itself is bullshit, because if I have all legendary augments, let me use all my fucking legendary augments. But instead, you have to play this fucking game of you can use, X amount of legendary augments and then have empty augment spaces, because now you've gotten to the max of your possible augment power usage. Or you use one legendary, maybe two, and then you have a bunch of lesser powerful augments, because you don't want to fucking, hit that augment power usage cap. So you'll have super powerful augments that you either have to fucking just let sit there or just get rid of, because you can't use them, because if you try to put them into your augment tree, they're just going to fucking put you over the edge and the game won't let you use them. And it's like, why? Why is it that I'm limited to how many fucking augments I can use? And it's like, look, they have a banner that you get, a banner that you can put down this banner, and it gives you all kinds of points and shit. And there's just one banner. Well, just give me one fucking augment. If you're going to limit me, then just limit me to the one augment, and I choose the one augment that I think works best for my character, and that's it. I get one augment. But to not limit me to one and say, oh, you can use all these different augments, but then limit how many augments I can use after that with this augment power usage bullshit, I'd rather them just say, hey, you only get one. Instead of here's this tree of augments you can use, and then you got to try to fucking make this puzzle work of, oh, well, I got a legendary here, and now I got to figure out which ones I can use to not go over the usage, and then you end up with a bunch of epics that are fucking left high and dry. And then not only that, Because that alone makes trying to fit your augments into this puzzle a pain in the ass, because you're trying to figure out the power usage. That alone is a pain in the ass. Couple that with how glitchy and bullshit this fucking screen is. I also want you to pay attention to the circles that you see on the screen here, because you can see the 3 on the left coming from the left-hand side going up. They're red in the center because those happen to be red augments in the center, but it's a white circle, and a white circle. That means that they could be any level or any fucking type of augment. Like you see here on the right, I've frozen the screen on Frostfire, and Frostfire is red. That's the little icon inside is red. So that would be considered a red augment. Then there's green ones and there's blue ones. Well, on these 3 white circles on the left, you can use any of the colors. But now these 2 on the bottom and the one going up here, if you see it kind of goes like 2 across and then 1 up on an angle, those are green circles. That means those augments can only be ones that have a green icon in the center. And then you have the one, if you're going across the top there, you've got, white circle, then a blue circle, and then over to a red circle, and then down to a blue circle. And that means that those 2 blue circles have to be augments that have blue icons in the middle. And that one in the corner can only be an augment that has a red icon in the middle. So on top of trying to figure out this puzzle of which augments you're going to use, because you can't go over the augment power usage, then on top of that, they are forcing you to use certain color augments in certain slots. So now you have to, it just makes the puzzle even harder, and it makes trying to fit augments into your augment tree incredibly fucking frustrating. I loathe this entire fucking system. It's like, listen, if you're gonna give me augment slots, give me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Give me 9 fucking slots, and I can put any fucking augment I want in the goddamn slot. Even if you wanted to give me this bullshit augment power usage meter, then eliminate the fucking colors, requiring me to use certain color augments in those slots. Like, the whole system is just fucking bullshit and annoying as hell, and it is one of the most irritating things about the game, and you will quickly fucking hate having to do anything with your fucking augments because of this bullshit system. Keep in mind also that every character has a different shaped augment tree with different color augment requirements. It's a fucking pain in the ass. Also, when you are switching between the armors, you can hit a button to instantly take whatever loadout you have on that character, all your weapons and everything, and immediately transfer it to the new armor. But because every character's augment tree is different, you can't just take the augment setup you already have and just swap it to the new armor. No, now you have to go through that armor's own specific augment tree and go through this puzzle of hell all over again. Fuck this system. I'm sorry. Fuck this system. It is garbage. Hot fucking garbage. Fucking augment system. Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. And then, Jesus Christ, what can I bitch about now? Because that's basically what this video is. That's basically what this video is, ladies and gentlemen. This is Supernova bitches about Godfall. But man, there's just so many things to bitch about. And before I get into my next point, I had said earlier that, look, I think that these developers are just not experienced developers. I think that that's just what it is. And allow me to point out, to make a point here. Godfall may be published by Gearbox, a very well-known, company with name recognition. But the studio that developed Godfall is Counterplay Games. And Counterplay Games, prior to Godfall, has made only one game. That game was called Duelist, and it was a fucking free-to-play digital collectible card game with turn-based strategy. Like, that's the game they made before Godfall. And it was a game that they needed to go through Kickstarter to get funded, and was published by Bandai Namco. Fucking Bandai Namco, right? So this is the studio that we're talking about. And supposedly some of the devs at the studio had experience working on Destiny 2. And some of that probably shows in some areas of the game where you can tell this game has a lot that it has copied from both games like Destiny and games like God of War. But it doesn't do anything as good as any of those games. Again, because it's clear to me that this studio is just not an experienced studio. And I'm not trying to just, sit here and talk shit about Counterplay or say Counterplay sucks or anything like that. I'm just saying, like, this is the equivalent of the studio that made fucking Candy Crush Saga all of a sudden making a fucking AAA looter shooter game for console. Actually, I take it back. It's actually not like that, because Candy Crush Saga is a huge game that millions and millions and millions of people play that makes fucking tens of millions of dollars a day in microtransactions. So Duelist, in comparison, is nothing. The studio that made Duelist is nothing. Again, I'm not trying to fucking to bash on Counterplay, but I think what we have here is just an instance where a small studio made a game that was visually nice looking, and somehow it got pushed out there and it got marketed as this big AAA game, and they are not a big AAA studio. And now I just want to show you some of the shit in the game that I noticed when I started to really pay attention to the details, that really kind of illustrates that this is not the big AAA studio or AAA game that they try to make you think that it is. One example, and this is a small thing, is, there's no water physics. Like, the water does its own little thing. As you walk through water or move through water in this game, it doesn't move at all. Zero physics whatsoever. Okay, that's a small thing. A lot of even big AAA games do that. But still, a game that's, supposedly this big, new, next-generation game, I expect it to have fucking water physics, alright? At least make some ripples in the water when you walk through it. So, not having any water physics whatsoever, kind of a small thing, but it is something that does bother me. But again, that's a small thing. Let's move on to some of the weirder things. Next, let's talk about the foliage, the shrubs, the grass, flowers, whatever. When your character moves through it, they move. But not really. If you look, it's almost as if there's a disc on the ground around your character. Perfect circular disc or an orb or some type of bubble around your character. And as you're walking, this orb or bubble is just kind of manipulating the foliage. It almost looks like a magnifying glass, like as you're walking over it. Like, it's not even really moving it out of the way. It's just kind of stretching, what it looks like. It's really strange looking. You can really see it here as I'm walking kind of back and forth through this area with this grass, that there's just this weird perfect circle around your character that's just making the shit move, and it looks fucking weird. Now, when you're moving quickly through the level and not paying attention, I will admit the effect, it sells the effect of, the shit moving out of the way. But then when you slow it down and you're walking slowly and paying attention, bro, what the fuck is this? Like, what I would have rathered it not move at all than do this. Like, this just looks fucking weird. It's really fucking weird, right? And again, I understand that when you're playing the game and running around doing shit, you don't notice it. But if that's the case, if it didn't move at all, I also wouldn't notice it. So why do this? Why was this their solution to how the grass moved out of the way? We've seen it done so much better in other games. Look at Ghost of Tsushima and things like that. We've seen other games, The Last of Us Part 2, where you're walking and moving through foliage and grass, tall grass and flowers and things, and they move out of the way as the character's moving through them. This implementation, this solution, it just, to me, and again, full disclosure, I'm not a fucking game developer. This is just me talking as someone who's played a lot of video games. To me, it doesn't really seem like a AAA type of solution to that problem. It seems like they just wanted to fucking make the shit move, so they're like, hey, we'll put a fucking orb around the character, and that'll move the shit. And, yeah, just really strange, man, right? Am I the only one that thinks that's fucking weird? Because I think that's fucking weird. And then another thing, here's this area towards the end of the game where you're about to fight, the main bad guy, Macros. and there's all these piles of money on the ground, and from far away, it looks like piles of money on the ground. But when you get close and actually look at it, again, same thing. You can see perfect circles where these money mounds are these perfect circular things. They just kind of dropped in the level, and where the circle ends, the money, the coins, they're just fucking cut in half. They're just fucking cut, sliced, like someone took a fucking laser and was just like, here's the fucking circle, and all those coins were just fucking cut in half. And nobody at the studio could even be bothered with going through and feathering the edges out, or fucking going through with their pen and just fucking making it so that the coins that are cut in half are invisible. I mean, they sprinkled a couple of random coins here and there at the edge to kind of disguise the fact that it's a perfect fucking circle. But again, like, it's so sloppily done. Like, I can't help but think that had another studio done this, a studio that we're more accustomed to getting games from, one of the bigger AAA studios, a real AAA studio, that we wouldn't be seeing this. And then we have the glitches. Holy fuck, does this game have glitches. All kinds of glitches everywhere, randomly, for no fucking reason. I've had all kinds of glitches, like this one, where this enemy randomly decided by the time I took him to half health that, nah, I'm not going to take any more fucking damage. And no matter what I did to him, he just would not take a single hit of damage, which meant that I had to completely abandon that mission and start from scratch. Just shit like that, shit where I was playing with a friend and my character got locked in the holding shield position, which meant that I could not only not walk at the regular speed, I couldn't run, I had to walk at the slow holding the shield speed, and the only way that I could fix it was I had to either abandon the mission or slowly walk my happy ass over to an enemy to get hit and get knocked out of that fucking position. But again, weird fucking glitch. I've seen glitches with my friends doing the tower where he was unable to move. Multiple times where he was just frozen in place and couldn't move. Or where he couldn't run, he had to only walk, and the only way, and he couldn't attack. He could just walk and not attack, and the only way that got fixed was by getting hit by an enemy. Glitches where there are these things in the tower, they call them boons. And as you go through the tower, you might be able to select a boon, which gives you the option of selecting an additional perk. It'll be like, 31% chance to ignite, an extra 22% to physical damage, 118%, critical hit damage. And then you pick one of those three, and one of those three boons gets added as an additional perk to your character, and it'll show up in the upper right hand corner of the screen, and it stays with you the entire time. So the more boons you get, they stack, and then you'll have, sometimes you'll be in a tower one where you have 4 or 5 of these boons built up, where you have 4 or 5 of these additional perks doing additional things. Well, I cannot fucking tell you how many times I'd go up to fucking, select my boon, and you go up to the thing, and you have to hit X, and it fills up this little meter that fills up, and once the thing fills up, then it opens up the menu for you to select, what boon you're going to pick. Well, I'll hold X, it'll fill up, and then boom, instantly be gone. And now, I can no longer pick an option. The game just fucking robbed me of being able to select a boon. That's the times that it actually even lets me hit X. There are many times where I can't even select a boon at all. I'll go up to the thing to hit X, and it doesn't even pull up the prompt for me to hit X. There are so many times that me and friends have tried to go get our boon and just been fucked. The game was like, nah, fuck you, you don't get a boon today. And it's just incredibly frustrating, man. Like, you go there to select a boon, and then it fucking robs you of it. Especially infuriating when, because as you're going through the tower, you get keys. You get keys from going through the elevator on the right up. You get keys for completing the little battle arenas, and then you use those keys to purchase chests that will show up after completing the arenas or going through certain doors. And you have, green chests that are free chests. They're freebies, doesn't cost you anything. And then you have blue chests, purple chests, and even orange chests, blue being rare, purple being epic, the orange being legendary, and they cost keys. Well, sometimes you'll go through doors, they have a little S shape on them, and me and my friends, we call it the freebie door, because you go through that door and you don't have to fight anybody in that door. It just gives you chests to choose from, and they all cost keys, and then there'll also be sometimes boons in there, and the boons cost keys. And, you might be like, I want to add an extra boon to my character. And, charge you 5 keys. You hit X, takes your 5 keys, and then what does it do? Fucking robs you of being to select your boon. And when that shit happens, it is increasingly frustrating. And again, the amount of times it's happened, too many to count. The amount of times we've been robbed of selecting a boon in the game is almost equal to the amount of fucking times the game has crashed, which again is up in the teens, if not higher. Also, randomly, sometimes the boon thing is floating because it's really one of the spirit beacons from the main game that they just kind of repurposed for the tower and call the boons. But sometimes it's floating, and then sometimes it's stuck in the ground, and it's just why? No fucking idea. There have been multiple times that I'd be playing and, be playing with my twin blades, my dual blades, and all of a sudden look like a fucking ventriloquist dummy. I just have these fucking, straps coming from my blades, just going straight up into this fucking sky, both of them. And I just look like I'm this fucking ventriloquist dummy running around the fucking map with these giant strings going up into the air. And we didn't know what the fuck was what the fuck it was, or what the fuck was going on, till I actually looked up and realized, my dual blades usually have these little tassels on them with a feather hanging off the back. And when I looked up in the sky, the feathers were all the way the fuck up in the sky, like fucking probably 3 stories in the sky. And then it was just the fucking band between the feather, like the little tassel between the feather and my swords that were just fucking coming straight down to my swords from the sky. And it was just like, what the fuck? It was just such a weird glitch. And it's happened to me more than once. I've seen glitches where when enemies die, instead of dropping the Electrum, the currency, which is like these kind of blue, shiny looking ninja star things, instead of dropping Electrum, they would just drop these glowing orbs that are kind of like embedded in the ground. And just no Electrum, just these glowing lights inside of the ground. And it's just incredibly weird. And again, that's happened more than once. There's just too many glitches to even go through in this video. I can make an entire video of just glitches. And, they range from being hilariously funny to infuriatingly fucking frustrating. And the main thing that kind of worries me about the game is that these glitches have been here for well over a week. Like, I didn't play this game from the day it started, so I don't know what problems existed when this game launched. But I can tell you right now, since I have started playing this game, which has been well over a week, none of the issues that I've experienced have been fixed. The only thing I can say that has happened, and I don't even know if it was just a patch or an update or what, all I can tell you is the game seems to crash less now than it did before. But it still crashes. It still 100% crashes. It just will crash maybe once a day, twice a day, whereas before it would crash 4, 5, 6, 7 times a day, so it does crash less. But other than the reduction in crashes, every single issue that I've experienced since I started playing this game is still existing now. So I'm thinking to myself, are the developers even trying to fix the game? Are they even attempting to patch these issues? They have to know these issues exist. Because a lot of the issues that I'm having, or glitches I've seen, or things that I've had issues with, when I'm looking online, many other people are having the same fucking problem. So it's not like it's just me. And clearly, playing with my friends, I know that they're experiencing the same thing as well. And nothing has been fixed or patched. And it's like, are they going to patch these things? Are they going to fix these things? Or are they just going to allow the game to continue to be a buggy, glitchy fucking mess? And I don't know the answer to that, but so far, it's not seeming very great. And another thing, that the end game of Godfall is very, very light on content. It's pretty much do everything you've done before, or go through these Dreamstone nodes, which is pretty much the same shit you did before, or you go through the tower and you try to see how high you can get in the tower. But it's just the same shit over and over and over again. There's also the issue with the cosmetic section of the game being completely barren of anything. Now, I know that if you pre-order the game, you got a skin for the main character and I think a skin for a weapon and some other things. But if you didn't, when you go to the character screen, you can click on cosmetics, and then when you go through, there are different, things. There's cosmetics for the Valor plate, there's cosmetics for the weapon, there's cosmetics for this, that, and the other thing. But when you click on it, it just says empty. It's not there. So what the fuck? Are we getting cosmetics or not? Like, if you weren't going to have cosmetics at launch, then don't even have that cosmetic shit show up in the game, because to see cosmetics and then click on it and have nothing be there, and not even have the ability to buy cosmetics, because Counterplay says there won't be any microtransactions in this game. So it's not even like there's a microtransaction store where you can go purchase skins with your own real money and then have them show up for you to use in this cosmetics thing. There's nothing. Unless you pre-ordered the game, there's nothing in this cosmetics area. So why the fuck is it here? Supposedly, they have expansions planned for the game for other areas, because right now the areas you have are only land, water, and air. And I'm guessing there may be a fire land and other shit in the works, and maybe cosmetics will come with that. But then why have the menu in now? And I understand the menu has to exist technically for the people that had a pre-order, but then don't give them that fucking pre-order bonus. It makes no sense to have only a few people who pre-order the fucking game have one skin that they can use, just one, and then have this entire cosmetics area fucking barren. Again, like I said, and I know I'm ragging on the game and I'm talking a lot of shit about the game and I'm pointing out a lot of issues with the game. I still want to point out that I had fun playing this game. I did enjoy the game, and to me it is better than Anthem and Avengers. At the same time, I think it was only as much fun as it was because I played with a friend. And basically, this is my public service announcement to you that if you plan on buying this game, know that these are the issues that exist. Know that it is a fun game. It is a game you can have fun with. But I recommend that if you are going to buy this game, make sure you have other people to play it with. Because I don't think playing on your own, you would enjoy this game. We even have another guy that we just started recently playing with, me and my buddy, because we really needed a third person in order to attack the level 50 tower, because it just gets insanely hard. And he even admitted, like, yo, if I didn't have you guys to fucking play with, like, I probably would have stopped playing this game. He's like, I probably would have just put the shit down, never looked at it again. He only plays the game still because he plays with us and he does the tower and shit with us. And me personally, I'm only playing the game because I'm having fun playing it with my friend. And my friend's only really playing the game because he's trying to fucking get the platinum for it. And I think he enjoys it more than I do, honestly. I enjoy it far less than he does, I think. But we really only have fun because we're playing with each other. And I think that if you are planning on buying this game, it's not a terrible game. It just does have a lot of issues and a lot of things that make it a not very enjoyable experience, especially if you're playing by yourself. So anyway, like I said, I want to make a video about something. I couldn't think of any, topics to talk about. The shit I'm seeing people make videos about, I think is fucking stupid. So I decided to make a video about this. I don't know how many people care about this far or this late after Godfall has released, but hey, this is the video I decided to make, and like I always say, I make videos about whatever the fuck I want to make videos about. So with that said, that's all I have for you guys on this one. And that's the video, guys. Let me know what you think down in the comments, and as always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys on the next Supernova. Also, there's a possibility I may be doing a live stream on Friday. If I decide I'm going to, I will update you guys with a video tomorrow, or today technically, letting you know if that's going to happen. But until then, this is Supernova, out.